To another level is Jared Allen playing too well, and the trade deadline is simply hours away. Our panel tells you the deals that need to go down next on Crossfire. I guess we'll get into it, guys. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
Roll up the sleeves for this one.
This Dallas team was very overrated from the start, like they always are every year.
The talent there, Kevin Mack, Eric Davis, and Cohen Roach are maybe three of the most talented guys on the team.
Oh, that's an ugly shirt. Always a pleasure having you on, guys.
Time to freak out, Reese.
Welcome into College Crossfire. I'm your host, Reese Miller. So glad you've decided to join us here on this final Wednesday night in February. Fantastic panel on hand, some good stuff to get to. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody. Steve Helwick returning, looking for number 3 in a row. Can you get? No one's ever had 3 in a row with me as host, but you and Jonathan getting some back-to-back wins here to start the semester.
It's a good night. I really like my odds to three-peat, so.
Wow,
let's
you
see
like
how that
your
goes.
odds to three-peat. Odds are
happening.
1 and 3.
Odds are definitely against you, but yeah, put it that way. Not a bad shot. Well, excited to have you as well, Hannah Nevlud. Hope I am pronouncing that correctly. So glad to have you as a part of the show now as well. Welcome in your first time.
Glad to be here. Just plan on taking down Steve tonight. The three-peat is not happening.
Wow,
it will not
the
happen
confidence
tonight.
and called out. Steve he'll get you over there.
A little disrespect on my end.
Eric Goodman, hopefully we'll get some trash talk from you as well. Made the outfit change just before the show.
Yeah.
You look great.
I
Glad to have
appreciate
you
that.
in front of the camera rather than behind it for 1 week. Glad you're here, pal.
Thanks, man. I was hoping I would be here in my nice Hawaiian shirt. It's the weather for it outside at Texas February, but apparently that's not Crossfire etiquette, but let's show them what Crossfire really is.
Yeah, Texas February indeed. It was hot in the Irwin Center as well on Monday night. 2 top 10 teams went at it. Ultimately, number 4 Baylor edged out number 6 Texas by 3. Brooke McCarty a chance to win it tie it in the final seconds. But it was the head coaches that were firing up shots after the buzzer. Lady Bears coach Kim Mulkey said, "There's not a new sheriff in town yet." Ashton responded in her press conference saying, "I'm well aware that we've got to talk about sheriffs and all kinds of crap, but I thought we played really hard and just didn't get the win." Guys, remember in the Big 12 tournament, Mulkey was unhappy with Texas fouling, still playing hard late in the game, even though they were down double digits at the time. A lot of talk back and forth between the two. Of course, Ashton used to be a part of Mulkey's staff. Is this the best rivalry going as far as Texas versus another team really in any sport right now, Steve?
When you're talking about a rivalry, you need those iconic moments, the history. And since Texas A&M's left for the SEC, I think in football, Texas Tech has done a great job as Texas rivalry. When you hear Texas Tech versus Texas, you think of Michael Crabtree catching that ball, going down the sideline, scoring. The game hosting game day the next year. And then on Thanksgiving 2 seasons ago, Jakeem Grant with that end around hiding behind the offensive line for a touchdown. Wild finish, 48-45. And this year, Deontay Foreman just tore them up on the ground, lots of rushing yards, and it came down to the final drive where Texas Tech threw an interception. So much history. It's always a good game when the Red Raiders and the Longhorns play each other. And I just don't think there's a rivalry that tops this intensity right now on campus for Texas.
So, first off, I'm a little taken back by Texas Tech. Not exactly the team that I would have picked in terms of rivalry. Maybe Oklahoma if we're talking
Red
football.
River rivalries.
Think of the iconic moments, though, between Texas and
Here's
Texas
what I
Tech
think of when
recently.
I think of Texas and Texas Tech. I think of
Tortillas.
2 very mediocre teams putting up a lot of points, and so we're mildly entertained for 5.5 hours.
No.
Anyways, Hannah, give me something else. What do you think is the best rivalry going right now?
Well, right now, I think it's definitely the basketball girls right now versus Baylor, just because these games are so intense. We're seeing them go down to the wire. It's just the last few seconds of the game that are deciding who wins and what's going to happen. A lot of the other teams really haven't gotten off yet, like baseball and softball. But if we're going to talk about football, I'm definitely going to have to say no to Steve's answer, because the Red River rivalry is definitely one of the best rivalries in Texas football, just because anything can happen when you're going for the golden hat.
Definitely. Eric, what do you think?
So football's not even. First of all, Texas isn't very good in a lot of sports. So I think all
That's
the
a key
sports.
part of the argument.
I think a lot of the sports that they're not good at, you can't really make that argument as far as best rivalry right now. It's no question. It's the women versus Baylor. First of all, Kim Mulkey and Karen Aston are two of the most entertaining coaches in the country in any sport. And the fact that one of them's here and the other one is just up the interstate, it's the greatest showdown between two coaches that I've seen here. When those two get in the same building, you see technicals flying. They're off the charts on the baseline, and then Brooke McCarty might be the biggest star in Texas athletics right now. And the fact that she misses 2 3-point shots, I don't think that does anything to take away from that. And I think she's going to respond. And I think we're headed for. We mentioned a couple sheriffs in town. I think we're headed for a little bit of a nice little Texas-style showdown in the Big 12 tournament.
I think so too. Definitely. Hopefully, we'll get a round 3 because I think it is going to be awesome. And McCarty, it's not going to affect her because she did hit that 3 just a few minutes before to get it before. I think it's going to be great. Eric, you're getting the points. I think the biggest key to this argument is that both teams are really good. And so every game they play for matters. I mean, these are 2 top 10 programs, and their fans care about them a ton.
Brother, can I throw one out just a little off the board?
Absolutely.
We're going, and you're going to like this.
Okay.
We're going off NCAA. We're going to club sports. Men's hockey versus Texas State. Give me some James Grachos. Give me some Dominic Girard. That's the answer for going off
It
the
is
board.
really good. The battle for the beer cup, right?
Yes.
Moving on. It is a down season for the men's basketball squad, but the lone bright spot continues to shine. Jared Allen threw down a monster dunk against West Virginia on Monday night and continues to get first-round pre-draft grades. Guys, the question is, should he stay for another year or bolt for the NBA? Hannah, we'll start with you.
I personally think he should go. I don't think that men's basketball at UT is going to be getting any better next year, and I don't really see any other players stepping up alongside Jared Allen and taking that leadership role. So I think he has a better chance of going to the NBA, making some money, and seeing where his career takes off.
So no point, no growth, no faith. Eric, what do you think?
I think, Hannah, you're not entirely correct. I think this Texas team is going to be quite a bit better next year with a point guard coming in Matt Coleman, a great recruit. I think the missing piece that's just making the whole system fall apart right now is the lack of any kind of sort of point guard. Not even a shooting guard. I wouldn't classify any of their main minutes players as shooting guard. So as soon as you get that, and I think with Shaq Claire leaving next year, I think Jared Allen is going to have a huge role, and he could definitely stand to gain a few pounds, to gain a few areas in his game. Absolutely stick around. I'm not going to be the Evan Berkowitz, I believe it was, who demanded that Miles Turner leave town. That's not going to be me this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe try to raise that draft grade a little bit, try to get into a lottery pick instead of 15, 20, maybe where he's projected right now. Steve, what do you think?
Eric, you brought up some really good points there, but they were all from Texas's point of view. If you're Jared Allen here, you have the opportunity to be – his draft stock keeps rising game by game, and the dunk certainly helped. He could even rise up to a lottery pick. Next year, it's not guaranteed how you're going to perform. He has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity maybe to be a lottery pick. He's playing well, and he'll have guys that'll help him develop and specialize in the NBA. You see what Miles Turner did. He wasn't as productive in his first season at Texas, and he's already doing great things with the Pacers. He's their second-best player, Paul George, there. And Jared Allen, I just think he can develop his skills pretty quickly in the NBA. And with all the big men developing quickly, like Jokic and Porzingis and Towns, Allen could be a solid NBA player by his second or third year. I'd go to the NBA, take the money if I were him.
Yeah, I like what you said, the comparison between he and Miles Turner. Allen's having a better year than Miles Turner did when he was here. And Miles is setting the league on fire up in Indiana. I think you got to go chase the money. You never know with injuries or anything that can happen. Yes, Texas is praying that he and Andrew Jones, who could be gone as well, never know. Obviously praying that they're both going to stay, but I think you got to go chase the money, Steve.
Big test for Shaka.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to keep those guys for Shaka.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on. Guys, the last 2 head baseball coaches at Texas retired as the all-time winningest coaches in D1 history. No pressure, right? David Pierce made his debut as the new face of the program for Texas baseball Friday night. The Horns split the weekend series with the Rice 2-2, losing by 1-1 Friday and winning by 1 run in Game 1 on Saturday, guys. What did you guys take away from the opening weekend and really first impressions, I guess, of the new-look Longhorns? Eric?
All right, so let me get this straight. A really long and successful established Texas coach retires, and is replaced by a new hot product, and the team has some early good chemistry. And then Shaka Smart's second year, Charlie Strong's second year. I'm sorry, this entire athletic program has made me way too cynical to take anything from this opening weekend. You know, Rice is definitely a good team, a great in-state rival to, you know, I mean, you split, you can't really say you won the series, but, you know, definitely weren't expected to win those two games. It's a nice start, but no, I mean, especially the way this team performed in the last 2 years, and it's most of the same guys. We'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of Texas fans, unfortunately for the Longhorn program, have your mindset that you kind of think they aren't going to do too well until they prove you wrong. And I think that's a rightful stance for fans to take. Steve, where are you at on this?
Considering Texas was below 500 last year, I thought it was very promising what they did to a ranked Rice team this weekend. And they split the series, and Rice is ranked right now. But on the Saturday doubleheader, they showed so much promise, scoring 11 runs, aggressive base running. The offense just seems to be coming in together. Casey Clemens is hitting well. David Pierce is right now playing Sam Houston State. I believe they're still winning, and this should be a winnable series, and it'll get them momentum. And I think they can finish above 500 if this keeps going up.
Wow, finish above 500. That's high goals for one of the top baseball programs. Is that what we've sung down to? Hannah, pump me up here. What did you think of the game?
Oh, Steve. I think it's way too early right now in the season to tell. I think we really do have that mindset with Texas coaches. Okay, well, we don't know how good they're going to do. Hopefully they'll prove us wrong. I think that they were very inconsistent this weekend, and I think that, you know, when one of their games fall flat, because I knew they were having trouble with pitching, you know, that your offense has to come up and pick that up, and I didn't think they really did that this weekend. But I definitely think that they have the faults right now at a good time period. They're gonna peak later on in the season. Hopefully, you know, get better as the games go on, and David Pierce is going to prove that hopefully he's got what it takes.
I like that, Hannah. Before we get to break, I'm giving you your first point, so congrats for that. You did mention only one Texas player right now with more than 3 at-bats is hitting over 300. Everybody else at 250 or worse. Bullpen, extremely shaky from my perspective.
I got 3 words for you. Small sample size. 5 games.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfectly so. Hannah is getting the points. Heading it towards the break, guys. That's all for Texas sports. But up next, we look at the trades around the association and changing baseball for better or for worse. Rolling right along here on College Crossfire on a Wednesday night, as always. Thank you for keeping it here. Quick scoreboard update inside the clubhouse. How about that? We have ourselves an old Texas tie on this night. Everybody with 1 point moving on into round 2, guys. Great job so far. DeMarcus Cousins was enjoying a pretty nice All-Star weekend in New Orleans. Gets to go to Bourbon, enjoys a nice All-Star game, only plays a couple minutes. Turns out he never had to leave. Boogie was traded to the Pelicans on Sunday night. The first blockbuster trade of the NBA season appears to be a fleecing. The Kings get only 1 first-round pick back in the deal, 2 players with expiring contracts this summer, and of course Buddy Hield, the 6th overall pick from last year's draft, a shooter out of Oklahoma, guys. That's all they could get. What did you guys make of this deal, and I guess how does it affect the West, and could it be one of the worst trades we've seen in recent memory, Steve?
You can't call this the worst trade in history because Boogie hasn't even suited up yet for the Pelicans. We said this back in 2008 when Pau Gasol was traded from the Grizzlies to the Lakers because Kwame Brown and Javaris Crittenton were the 2 big names. But the Grizzlies also got Marc Gasol from the deal, is the draft rights to him, and he might be their greatest player in franchise history. So you said, is this the worst trade of all time? No, the worst trade of all time, you have to go back to 75 when the Bucks dealt Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Lakers. The Bucks were a championship squad. They won it in 71. 74, they were a game away from the championship. They had a good squad with Bobby Dandridge, John McLaughlin back then, Oscar Robertson. But they haven't done anything since. It's like the curse of Bambino in basketball. Once they dealt Kareem, they were done. That's the worst trade in NBA history.
A 1971 Milwaukee Bucks player was just mentioned.
Kareem was dominant.
Oh my God.
Wow. You're a living encyclopedia, and I applaud you for that. And you're getting a point just for your knowledge before anybody else gets the point. Moving on.
Oh my goodness.
Hannah, wow, what did you make of this trade? I assume no 1971 trades are going to be referenced here.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm definitely with Steve. I don't think you could call it technically the worst trade in NBA history. but it definitely leans toward the bad side just because it's DeMarcus Cousins. I just don't think it's very smart move on the Kings' part because he's averaging 28 points per game, 11 rebounds per game. I mean, I feel like the trade was just very like, oh, Buddy Hield, they just saw potential in him, let's try to move it more that way. But I don't think it was very wise trade on the Kings' part.
Yeah, it seems like their GM even said had a better deal on the table just hours before. Eric, what'd you think?
Right.
Oh, maybe the Kings are trying to tank a little bit. I mean, they were bad with Boogie. They're going to be bad without Boogie. But what I'm excited for is a little big boy basketball down in NOLA. I mean, we haven't seen this in a long time. It's been Splash Brothers style of basketball, 3-point shots. Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins are the best two big men in the NBA, I think, and I don't think there's the next person is even that close. It might be Joel Embiid at this point. He's having a great season.
Yeah.
But those two guys on the court together is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and it's going to be the kind of basketball. Throw it inside, give me a little shimmy shake. There's a little Reese Miller basketball down over in Greg Gym, a little Mark Skoll basketball.
Much better though.
So yeah, that'll be real fun to watch. I'm definitely more intrigued to watch a New Orleans Pelicans game than I ever have been.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you've got the Brow, the Boogie. I don't know. I think it could be extremely fun. Got to be the favorites to make the 8 seed in the West now. Maybe them versus Golden State, two opposite styles. Could be fun. You're going to point as well just because it's fun. I'm feeling good today, guys. So Steve and Eric getting the point from that question, guys. The trade deadline is tomorrow. Plenty of rumors swirling around the air. Andrew Bogut, Carmelo Anthony, and Derrick Rose have all been the center of different trade talks. Blake Griffin as well, guys. But what deal can you think up, create? You get to put your GM caps on and just take two teams and make yourself a trade. Hannah, I'll start with you.
Okay, so y'all are going to hate this answer, but I would personally like to see Anthony Davis to the Rockets.
Wow.
Because, Pelicans got Cousins now, and I think that, Davis could definitely help Houston be more of a contender for a title. I think he could really do some big things over there.
I would agree.
I'm going to have to definitely go with Davis to the Rockets.
For Harden?
Yeah, who do they get back?
No.
Key ingredient.
Ryan Anderson.
Key ingredient in the GM cap world.
I guess Anderson. I don't know.
And the next 10 first-round draft picks. Eric, give me a trade here.
So I try to be a Knicks fan, and it's difficult. And right now, what I'd love to see happen is to trade Carmelo Anthony, to trade Derrick Rose, to trade Phil Jackson, to trade a turkey sandwich, and get Kemba Walker in return, who's been my favorite player since he's been at UConn. And I think his talents are going a little bit to waste over in Charlotte. I think he's from New York City. He's built for that. He needs to play in Madison Square Garden. That's where his best college games were. And I'll give another one for you just because I think it'd be really funny. Just a 3-team trade between the Pacers, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Lakers now.
Lakers with 3 former players.
Because you would have Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan all on the phone together. And come on, that's awesome.
That is.
Get me on that call.
So awesome. All in on that. Steve, what do you think?
The LeBron has made the finals too long, 6 straight years. I want to see some competition in the East. And the team that can best challenge LeBron is the Celtics. You see that asset. They have that Brooklyn pick. That's going to be a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
You can trade that and get a star player now. You don't know what you're going to get with that pick. I'd trade that for Jimmy Butler. The Bulls have had team chemistry issues. Wow. I'd get Jimmy Butler. And then you have the offensive firepower to match Cleveland with Isaiah Thomas there. You have Al Horford. That's a lot of players that have been all-stars recently. My only concern would you need a little more rebounding in Boston. They've struggled with that this year. You could add Jay Crowder to the deal and one of Smart or Bradley and maybe get a rebounder, add a third team to that. But I think Jimmy Butler to the Celtics is where Boston needs to go.
Love that. I love that. I want to see Boston, make Boston great again, right? Just kidding.
Apparently nothing was great before this year.
I'm getting put on my own show. I think they're the one team, maybe them and Toronto, that can maybe one player away from at least pushing Cleveland. I don't want to see a walkthrough. I think Boston can do some major things if they just get the one score, that one guy. Hannah, don't mean to dog on your Rockets. Just got to have something in return there as well, guys, moving forward. Eric, I like your fandom picks. It's okay to bring out your inner fan among the GM.
I'll never hesitate.
I like that, guys. From the hardwood to the baseball diamond, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred is integrating changes in the game. The 4-pitch intentional walk will now be granted in an attempt to speed up the game by a simple motion to the dugout. The Players Association denied any more changes that the MLB was attempting to make, guys. What did you think of the rule change, and should they have changed something else? is there other innovations that baseball can do to try to speed up the game and try to get younger fans involved, Eric? I know you're a baseball guy.
I am a baseball guy, and I'm an old school baseball guy, and I don't like this. I mean, just make them pitch the balls. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. And every now and then you get an airmail on an intentional walk, and that's the greatest. So I'd say don't change anything else. In fact, maybe even take away some of these new pitch clock ideas. I'm not a fan. John Lowe style.
Old school.
Keep it a classic.
I like that. Any John Lowe reference is well appreciated on this show. Steve, what do you think?
The average person who watches the MLB is 53 years old. NBA is 37.
Wow.
NBA is doing things right with speeding up the game, and I really like where the MLB is going with this move to speed up the game. I'd even make more measures like pitch clocks, limited pitching changes, add the strategy there. You have to have a more rapid, fast-paced game, I think, to bring in this younger generation of fans.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Eric, old man soul, 53 years old. That's all right.
Yeah.
Part of the younger
Not
crowd.
the first I've heard that.
Keep it alive. Hannah, what do you think?
I'm going to have to play off of what Steve said. Going back to games are running about 3 hours now, and that's an incredibly long time. I think in order to get younger viewers, you have to cut it shorter. You're going to lose people with longer games. So I think this new rule is definitely going to help out the MLB.
Yeah. You like it? Any other changes, or you're just excited to see how it plays out?
Yeah, I'm just excited to see how it goes from here.
Yeah.
Can't get any worse than
Middle bats in the home run derby.
Oh my
That's the change.
Metal bats.
That's the change.
In the home run derby. Eric, I like what you said. There are some exciting things that can happen. Every once in a while you see Miguel Cabrera. You've seen him whip out and slap a double whenever they overthrow. You saw a college game decided last night on
Texas
that.
A&M, right?
I'm an old school soul as well. Therefore, you're getting the points. The people who like baseball and are baseball fans like it for what it is. The players obviously don't want any changes. Might be okay with the pitch clock, but overall, I don't want anybody messing with umpires. I don't want any more computers. Replay has been a good thing, but anyways, we got to go. Speeding up Crossfire like we got to speed up baseball. Eric getting the point. Going to break, guys. Points are doubled, and we decide a winner on Rapid Fire up next. Welcome back to your home for live sports debate. This is College Crossfire. Thank you for sticking with us. Got a good one going. A couple fiery panelists. Steve Helwick always bringing the heat. Tied for the lead with a Trey. Hannah, hot sports opinions, hot takes. I love it. Only 1 point so far, but plenty of time to go in rapid fire. Eric Goodman bringing it up to the forehead. Seeing out of them as well. There you go. Guys, points are now doubled. Hannah, your first time. Rapid fire, you can feel free to jump right in as soon as you ask the question, and let's get into it, guys. Ole Miss today, breaking news out of Oxford, handed down a 1-year self-inflicted postseason ban on any bowls following an NCAA investigation. Guys, they had some violations. NCAA was going to do something. Ole Miss took it upon themselves to go ahead and place a ban. The question is, we're going to let you guys get a little creative. Let's say you're the president of the university. You're at some high-ranking position. What ban are you placing that will really hurt the players, coaches, the football program? What ban are you guys going to put on? It can be as wild as it gets.
ban on players and coaches of Ole Miss teams?
Yeah, the football program in general.
Okay, well, if we're going to get creative here, let's put a ban on drinking. No drinking during the season.
No alcohol.
Say, that way you can have your peak of your players' performance. Coaches always focus on it. Yeah, I definitely think that kind of ban would definitely that would hurt a lot of people.
No more cheating.
There you go. That's
no drinking. That's hard. Hardcore, I like it though.
Here'd be a really hard punishment for Ole Miss fans. No wearing bow ties to football games. The Ole Miss is famous for wearing those bow ties and the suits, and
at the ground?
that would be a very hard year for Ole Miss.
Wow,
and that'd be a good
no chubbies or
none of that.
Or
none of that
SEC.
None of that SEC.
Man, that is hitting them where it hurts.
All right, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction of Hannah. I'm gonna put a ban on alcohol and drugs before games. I want these guys like Laramie Tunsil. Give me your gas mask. Do whatever you got to do. I want you out on that field, just blaze drunk out of your mind. And we'll see. Good luck. Good luck beating the Bulldogs. Good luck beating the Bulldogs.
I'm not sure if I can actually give points for that answer.
No.
I'm not sure how. I don't think it would go very well for them.
Isn't that the point?
So I guess that is the point. It would probably be pretty painful at parts throughout the game, kind of stumbling, but Steve came with the bow ties. I think that's really hitting them where it hurts, and I know for a fact I can give points.
That's a weak point. That's a weak point you just
for that
gave.
answer going on, guys. We've seen for the last several seasons different players come out with different shoe brands. Kevin Durant, one of the Texas players who consistently releases different shoes, if you guys can see over on the monitor. These were the shoes that were released, there you go, that were released today by Kevin Durant, the new KD9s. So you guys have seen Colt McCoy release some Colt McCoy boots. But what former player would you choose to release some sort of clothing product? It can be shoe, get creative with it. But it has to be a former Texas player.
Give me a Danny Newsom shooting sleeve.
Boom!
Danny Newsom, always an appreciative answer here on the panel.
Charlie Strong line of turtlenecks.
Isn't that kind of already out?
Oh my
think
gosh,
Nike already
that was
kinda did
my
that.
answer, Steve. What the heck?
Wow. What? You got anything else?
No, I guess I'm gonna have to go with the Charlie Strong one. Steve, dang it, that was my answer.
Took it.
That's the worst.
Yeah, not great.
Sorry about that one.
A little underwhelming. Anything else? Anything else?
I'd take a Brooke McCarty
get some-
headband. I'm real high on Brooke McCarty right
Ooh,
now.
what about like a Brooke McCarty like little bun?
Yes.
Like a little bun band.
100%.
that you could do.
100%.
The
I'd
Brooke
wear that. I'd
bun.
wear that to games.
All right,
You
all
know I
right.
would.
I like
Jared
that.
Allen wigs.
All right, Eric's getting the 2 points, guys. One question to decide a winner. One of my favorite events, one of all of the South in America's favorite events. It is the Daytona 500 this Saturday. Sundays can once again feel right. It is NASCAR. Of course, NASCAR is making changes as well, like baseball, to try to integrate some younger fans. Of course, it's the Monster Energy Cup this season, transitioning from Sprint Cup. So with that, they made some changes, new segments in races. They're splitting them up into 2 different segments. Points are going to be awarded in different parts of the race to try to increase fan involvement and try to get momentum in the sport. So the question is, you can do anything you want to the sport, but you have to try to make it more creative, more innovative, and basically get more people to watch.
All right, Reese.
Wait, didn't you just say fan involvement? Let's do literal fan involvement. Let's have them drive the cars, like on the track. Like you have some professionals, some amateurs. See how it goes.
What are the amateurs driving, like their Chevy Silverados or what?
Yeah,
No,
Honda
no,
Odysseys
no,
and like.
Steve, that is the wrong direction to go.
Honda, you would pick a van. I forget you're a van guy.
What you want to do is you want to go maybe more like off-road
quick.
racing or
Okay.
something like that. Just
like that.
go completely off the wall, just off-road, get some dirt and gravel in there.
All right, Reese, you and I are both racing
quickly.
guys. Let's take this
We are.
seriously. You got to get rid of the restrictor plates, make those cars go as fast as they can, and give me some more road races. Because I want to see how
Love
these
that.
drivers turn a right turn every now and then. You know?
No
Let's see-
restrictor plates, road races. Love the off-roading idea as well. Dirt races are always great, but anytime you can go faster, more road races. I love it. Eric, you're getting the points. Do we have a quick FaceTime moment? No FaceTime. Eric, I know you had something good.
Just props to Men's Club Lacrosse for a great win over number 24 SMU.
Excellent.
Huge for them.
Excellent,
Great program.
excellent answer. Excellent broadcast by TSTV Game Day crew as well. Follow them at TSTV Sports. That is the social media platform where you can check out Crossfire, Pressbox, and Game Day. We're here every Wednesday night at 9. Pressbox Monday nights at 9:30. Be there for the latest Longhorn sports news. Until then, we'll see you next week here for live sports debate on Crossfire. Good night.